Hello everybody, welcome back to the Talking Wolves podcast. We're back for another podcast looking at the majority of the fixtures over the month of October. My name is Dave, and as you can see me today, slightly different surroundings. This is the second attempt of doing it today, which I'm sure these two aren't too happy about, but
yes.
We did attempt it live. Didn't quite go to plan, so we've had to go with the old Skype method. So with me today, we've got Matt Cooper. Matt, how's it going?
Yeah, mate, pretty tired, but we're all right.
And we've also got Tom Rouse, the old Golden Black. Tom, how's it going?
Yes, great. We don't get this sort of amateur behaviour on my own podcast.
Oh yeah, of course. There we go. That's the one and only.
That's the
you get.
compensation. Rouse and Roach, downloading.
Well, today, guys, we're going to be, as I say, looking at the majority of the October fixtures. We're going to also be looking back at, looking at some of the questions that you guys have given us, and we have also got almost like a guest appearance on the podcast as well. So stay tuned for that one.
It's special.
Yeah, we're going to start off with the game against Southampton. No, unfortunately, I wasn't there. #plastic. That's it. But I'll let you two, look at this one. It was a pretty poor performance by Wolves, in all truth. Not many shots on goal, boys. A little bit more of the ball than expected, Tom. But how do you rate that sort of performance?
Yeah, well, having spoken about it earlier on, it did jog my memory because I had completely forgotten about the game before we spoke about it earlier on. The losing Ryan Bennett early on was a huge loss. I didn't realise how important he was into the structure of the team, because when he went off and Vallejo came on, we fell to pieces, and he was at fault for the goal that we conceded as well, alongside Cody, but he didn't really help. But yeah, it was a disappointing way to follow up the Manchester City game. We getting a result where you don't expect to get a win, and then to follow it up with a game that you should win with a draw it sort of evens itself out, really.
Yeah, I thought it was poor. I came away thinking, neither team deserved the point from that. Southampton were pretty futile with every attack they had. I mean, they scored through a poor defensive error from Cody and Vallejo combining. So, and Wolves didn't create much either. They had the 2 goals disallowed, but rightfully so. But yeah, it was disappointing. Disappointing more so, but everyone was expecting the 3 points. So they should. Southampton at home. No disrespect to Southampton, but we are a better team than them.
Well, and they followed it up with a 9-0 defeat. So, I think rightfully we could think that we should be winning that game.
Yeah, especially, straight after the Man City game as well. It was, it's not straight after, but the next fixture, we're all expecting a big performance carrying on from the Man City game and that momentum, but it just didn't happen, did it?
Well, the international break didn't help, really, did it? Having 2 weeks off. If it had been the next Saturday or the midweek after, I think we might have won. But I think because they'd all gone away or they'd all rested and not played any football for 2 weeks and not seen each other, I think that maybe affected them in the long run, really. Or in that result, anyway.
How much of an impact do you think VAR had on it? Because in theory,
it disallowed 2 goals. So
yeah.
Well, and I think we were lucky to get a penalty as well from it. I think you could if it had been rescinded, if it hadn't have been given from VAR, I don't think we could have complained too much. I think it was pretty soft.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I think it's a bit weird because we have spoke about it earlier.
I'm trying to remember what I said and being consistent.
I should have just gone exactly what I didn't say earlier. I'm going like, it was brilliant. Everyone's looking at me like, what are you?
Yeah, but I mean, it was. You can see why the penalty was given. VAR couldn't really overturn it because there was contact. It wasn't really a dive, was it? So I think in the middle of the park, most referees would give that as a foul sort of thing. I think with it being a penalty was maybe a little bit harsh, as you say. I think a lot of fans would have been sort of a bit disappointed if that was given against them.
Yeah.
But the Raul goals as well. I mean, they both are correct, as harsh as they may seem. But do you think that had much of an effect on Wolves for the majority of the game, just in terms of how we were playing and so on as well?
It gives the opposition team opposition a momentum, doesn't it? Yeah. I said this for the first game of the season at Leicester when we first fell foul of the VAR. It's the equivalent of scoring a goal.
Yeah.
If you have one that goes for you in terms of it's because the opposition fans go absolutely mental and they're up for it. The team's deflated. It's just so I hate it. And if you've got to slow things down to a frame by frame freeze, then It's not clear and obvious.
No.
Yeah.
If you can't see it after 2 or 3 times looking at it, then for me it shouldn't be contested.
They're trying to stop goals, aren't they?
Yeah. There's a lot of Wolves fans as well, slating the Southampton fans for celebrating, but we get to see a goal that's been disallowed in our favour. I would be very surprised if any Wolves fans didn't celebrate a goal, that was disallowed against us, because as Matt said, it's a huge moment in the game. It turned that half because Wolves were the dominant team and were not rightfully ahead. But my point that I made earlier on that was about the defence didn't. No defenders put their hands up to appeal for an offside on Catrone, who laid the ball off for Jimenez to score the goal. So in my mind, it wasn't a clear and obvious error. Whereas if you take, I don't know, the handball, I think that one of the defenders did spot it, the linesman spotted it. But it's those things that are so fine. Like we just watched Everton Spurs now, and that handball with Dele Alli where they took 4 minutes to look at it or whatever. That's not a clear and obvious error. It needs to be looked at once or twice, and you think, actually, no, move on quickly. It's the whole reason we all like football is because it's passionate, it's immediate.
Have you seen their reasoning for why they didn't give that?
No.
They've come out for both the leg break and that, and they said that Dele Alli was under pressure from the attacker, so therefore they couldn't give it as a handball.
But why did it take them so long to get to the bottom of that? That's my problem.
You say, Tom, I think if you look at a replay, maybe you look at the same replay, but maybe 2 or 3 different angles. If you say straight away, bloody hell, ref, how on earth have you missed that? Yeah. Then that's when you give it. But like you say, the fact that not just the Dele Alli decision, just in any case that it's taken over 2 or 3 minutes, then it's not clear or obvious. You should trust the referee's sort of decision.
And it's been used in rugby. It's taken 15 years in rugby to get it to the point that it is now, but it works very, very well in rugby. But the reason why you can't have, why I think that in rugby you don't want an appeal system is because the players can't see what's going on. They're on the floor having their heads smashed in. Whereas in football, it's very fast, but the players can see exactly what's going on. They know if a player's behind them, or they get the sense if a player's handballed it. It needs to be adapted considerably if they're going to continue to use it next season. I think they are going to use it next season, I imagine, but it needs to change desperately.
Spent too much money on it to be put in the bin.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, as you say, it's going to be at least here for the rest of this season. They're not going to scrap it after 10 games already.
No. It's working all right in European League, so it's Star League. Shock, the FA can't.
It actually did
Premier League can't get anything
World Cup
right
as well, didn't it?
Yeah, they've changed too much too soon. I think it was on the Football Ramble they were talking about if they'd have just brought it in for offsides this season, and then next season they'd have brought in the handball rule as well, and then rather than just changing everything immediately, I think it's changed too much too soon and too quickly.
And the fact that we'd actually be in a Europa League spot if VAR didn't exist, apparently, according to these alternative league tables that keep cropping up.
Oh, these alternative league tables.
And we'd be top 4 if it was just second half performances.
If we'd have scored all our shots on target and not conceded any goals, we'd be top of the league, yeah.
And the Villa would, if they didn't play after 90 minutes, they'd be probably still be 17th or 18th. So.
Well, that's the Southampton game, and VAR rant over. I'm sure that's probably going to have to be a feature now for probably on every podcast for the amount of games that we cover and the amount of BS that VAR.
And they said that it would end discussion, didn't they?
Still opinion, isn't it?
Yeah.
Stupid. We move on now back to the Europa League. Wolves faced off against Slovan Bratislava, our third group stage game, and obviously the third team that we faced off against. Ended up as a 2-1 victory, but before we talk about the game, we're going to hand over to our guest appearance, Harry Mansell from the 77 Club podcast. He gave us his thoughts on actually getting into the ground, on the atmosphere, and his thoughts on the atmosphere and so on, and then we'll give our quick thoughts on the game.
Hello Dave, hello Talking Wolves. So yeah, my experience at Bratislava. First of all, I just want to say Slovakia or Bratislava is a really, really nice place, really clean, great atmosphere in the pubs before with all the Wolves fans. As you know, there's only meant to be 200 there, but like me and the other lads I went with, we did book before and we gambled. It was only £100 return, so if we weren't going to get into the ground, which I didn't think we would, to be honest, it was still a good trip over there, do you know what I mean? To have a few drinks and that, mixed with the fans, which there was probably a good 700 over there, I reckon, in total, trying to get in. And the Express and Star were milling around doing videos, as I'm sure you saw. Was on that a few times, and yeah, the build-up was amazing. Really good place, good atmosphere, great beer, and all that. So yeah, we get to the game, and we thought we'll have a go. We walk around by the ground, load of kids, as you imagine, all mad, buzzing atmosphere, and we give up. We were like, we ain't going to do it, lads. We ain't going to get in. We ain't going to get offered tickets. We went to the pub. There was a few Wolves fans in there. We were like, lads, are you watching it in here? They were like, no, we're going to the ground. Have another go. There's rumours going around that there are a lot of tickets going on sale from the locals. So me and Sam were like, nah, like we're done. We're just going to watch it in here. But luckily, Bayliss and Jack convinced us. We went back to the ground. We were walking around, and literally, as soon as we got to the ground, this bloke walked up to me, grabbed my arm, and he went, excuse me, you want tickets? We were like, yeah, €25, €25 each for the tickets, and we were in. Bit touch and go when we got in. Jack actually got questioned by security. They were like, who are you? Are you a teacher? It's a bit weird, isn't it? An English lad in his mid-20s just going in. He's meant to be teachers only, taking in the kids. It was a bit dodgy, but he somehow pretended that he was a PE teacher. I don't know how. I didn't get questioned. I went to the most quietest turnstile I could find. We got in, walked round, and the way the ground was laid out, you could just walk around the whole stadium. It's like brand new, and there's no segregations at all. You could just walk all the way around. We went to our normal seats, and as you know, the game kicked off. The first half was horrendous. I won't go into too much detail about the game because I'm sure you lads will do that. But yeah, the first half was really poor. And then obviously we turned it round second half. Really good penalty by Jimenez. He obviously got the penalty. Sace's goal was a bit lucky, but we'll take it, and we got the win. So, but on about the 60th minute, after Jimenez's penalty, we thought, well, let's try and go in the away end. We realised the security was a bit lax. They did have security down the sides of the away end, but we noticed people walking in and out freely. So we just walked all the way around, walked in, straight into the away end. If you could have been a Slovakian, you could have been an absolute nutter. You could have just walked in and started fighting. The security did not care. They were just stood there for show, I think. So yeah, all in all, an unbelievable experience out there. I'm glad I went now, because obviously, as you can imagine, we were a bit gutted when it was meant to be behind closed doors, but turned out to be a full house, one of the maddest atmospheres I've ever been in, because the kids were absolutely electric, as you've probably seen on some of the videos and heard it on the telly. And they made the atmosphere, to be fair to them. They were so excited. I think they'd come from all around the country, from different schools. So yeah, all in all, really good experience, a really good win, a huge win. Shout out to Nuno, absolute legend. He come up to the Wolves fans after the game, was high-fiving all the Wolves fans. Probably only disappointing thing was obviously Jota getting sent off. He could have cost us a result there, lost his head a bit. But yeah, overall, I stayed there till the Saturday. Great few nights out there, really, really good. Every Wolves fan we met out there were incredible. No trouble. Wolves fans held themselves well. That's the big thing for me in the Europa League. I've been to 2 now, and I haven't heard on others there's been any trouble. The Wolves fans are just loving this Europa League adventure. Let's hope it continues. Let's hope we beat them in the return leg. And yeah, cheers for having me on, lads. And I'll see you soon. Cheers, Talking Wolves.
So big thanks to Harry for that. I'll make sure I leave a link to him in the description down below. He did a pretty crazy match vlog, quite a unique experience as well.
The craziest thing about that vlog was the shirt.
It's like a magic eye poster.
Borrowed his dad's shirt, didn't he?
Top lad, Harry. You got a lot of stick for that shirt. I felt sorry for him. I mean, it was tragic, but he's a top fella.
You got a lot of
I'm
stick
sure.
for that, but let me just slag it off once more. Let me be the
It
last
did,
one to have a say.
but like we obviously know each other, and it did look a bit like a flannel, like a tea towel. But
Flannel.
you know, he's a top lad, and I'm sure he'll never wear it again. So
Yeah. It's gone to the charity shop now, that has. Bless it.
well, he probably came from
Yeah,
there.
back from where it came.
No, he's a legend. I love him. He's
The
class.
craziest bit about that clip there was that his mate pretended to be a
sober?
PE teacher. Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, he was so bad.
He's sober. He had to be on his best behaviour. Or his Slovakian accent, you know.
Yeah.
Can't be
Yeah, that was really good. He's definitely picked that up
Do you
from
like
over
some
there.
tickets? Yes. Yeah.
No, cheers for that, Harry. Top lad.
Top man. We'll talk about the game quickly. I mean, it wasn't the best of starts for Wolves, was it? It took just 11 minutes for Bratislava to take the lead. Andres Spora, who
Always rated him.
Yeah, always rated him. I'd label him as the key man on the match preview, you know. But pretty direct, pretty easy goal. Poor Wolves goal to concede, really, wasn't it, Tom?
Well, Cody to blame again, arguably.
Got 2 digs at Cody already, Tom. I don't trust anything that lad
No,
says.
I think we've just
three
done,
if you include the earlier recording.
Yeah, we've just done this bit already, haven't we?
Yeah. Let's carry on.
Well, between Cody and Patricio, they should be doing better with that shot, really. But I can't really remember the build-up to it. I'm sure it was just too easy to get through the midfield and get it to their star player, whatever his name was. But we were generally quite poor and slow in the first half. That is the theme this season, is that 3-5-2, slow, 0-0 half-time or 1-0 down, and then we'll win the second half 1-0. And because we go to 3-4-3, and that was the case that Thursday when they brought on Traore at half-time, and he tore their left-back a new one and was... Well, completely changed again. That left back didn't have a clue what he was doing when Traore came on. Even like simple passes he was misplacing or putting them out for a throw in, he really got into his head and caused him all sorts of trouble. Not just when he was running at him, but just in general play. And it did take a long time for Wolves to get into the game, but there was that spell of 5 or 6 minutes where we scored the 2 goals and then shut up shop them and made sure that we got the win. And I know that they're only the 4th seed in their group and they are only Slovan Bratislava, but they'd never lost in that stadium. That's something to be said. And
it was taking points off the other 2 teams in the group. As well,
yeah, exactly. And it was a peculiar atmosphere with so many children there, and it being loud. And you can say what you like about it. They must have benefited from having some sort of crowd there, where really they should have been playing behind closed doors. But I think we did very, very well to come away with 3 points and in a very strong position for the rest of the group now.
It seemed like the players actually sort of enjoyed that atmosphere. I think it was something completely new. I know for sure Patricio put something on Instagram like thanking UEFA to allow all this crowd to come in.
He probably didn't.
Yeah, I don't think he would have thanked
his
UEFA.
press team probably did. Yeah. But yeah,
tweet something like.
Yeah, tweet something like this.
Something like this.
Yeah.
Fans were great. God is greater.
No, but Matt, it was another weird. I mean, the formation again. It seems like
the first half was total shite.
Catrone and Jimenez up front. I just don't.
Just doesn't work, mate. It really doesn't work. I don't know what it is. I mean, we don't play to Catrone's strengths at the best of times, but they were so far apart. They weren't linking up with each other. So I wouldn't be doing that again. But it was just so lacklustre. And obviously we went down to an early goal, and I remember saying to my dad, "Like, at least just scored now rather than we can change it. We can make a change now." But again, he went with a 3-5-2, and I get that he not wants to frustrate, but wants to kind of suss out the game, which is a bit safer at 3-5-2. But it's just we never start a game looking like we want to win it. No. We always look like we're settling for a draw. Obviously, we'll go on to the Arsenal game, and that was a bit different, but it was just shocking. And then you had like Catrone, who was playing bad, bloody Gibbs White, who can pass wind, and then and that's not me singling him out because I do it with every player for not playing well. But on the night he was poor, Catrone was poor. Can't remember who else played who wasn't very good, but no one stood out apart from Adama when he came on.
I'll tell you who did stand out for me is Max Kilman. Because I wasn't expecting him to be thrown into the team at this point. Boly wasn't injured, was he? Who did he come in for?
Bennett/Vallejo, because he was crap the game before.
Whoa.
Vallejo.
Pretty good without a chance.
He played right centre back.
Sace was
playing in the middle. He played quite well, actually.
Yeah,
that was someone who I thought played well.
Yeah. Because
it would have been Bennett, Vallejo or Kilman, and Vallejo's crap. Bennett was injured, so they went for Kilman.
Well, but he did really well. He was quite assured on the ball. He looked a lot more improved than the Punic game that we saw him.
You slagged him off. Yeah.
And I said that he wasn't a professional footballer. He's done really well to become a professional footballer.
Yeah. No, I agree. And again, we will talk about the Villa game. And Max Kilman is pretty solid. I mean, it was as you say, we needed half time. We needed that Nuno pep talk. We needed that change in formation and change in personnel. And Wolves would have been very, very disappointed not to have got anything out of the game, because 61% possession. Again, chances created, 10 shots in that game. Yeah. I think against that sort of quality of opposition, no disrespect to Slovan Bratislava, I'm sure they are listening.
I'm sure they'll be watching.
Yeah. We do have to, I mean, it will be very interesting come Thursday to see how we've sort of developed over the last couple of weeks. But do you think that we should be putting teams like that to the sword a bit more?
Yeah,
yes.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
One thing I think that we mentioned earlier on that we haven't mentioned is Sace's goal. and that he just had a pot shot from 25 yards, 30 yards, which apart from Neves,
all of us did. All three of us go, "Don't shoot!"
Yeah.
It's in.
Yeah, but you never know what's going to happen with a skidding. If it's raining, it's skidding off the pitch, or a bounce just in front of the keeper, or a bad keeper, parries it back into the path of a striker. It's something that we need to try more of, rather than just waiting for Neves to have a worldie that goes in the top corner every now and again.
Or in the words of Neil Warnock, it might be a knob end in 90th minute. It don't matter, they all count, don't they?
Exactly.
But of course, then just after, not too long after the goal, like you mentioned, it was 5 minutes. We got that penalty. Raul Jimenez, Mr. Reliable, in front of from the penalty spot.
He's so good at pens, isn't he?
Yeah. What's his stats going to be on FM 20 day?
As mentioned earlier, this is weird.
I'm
just reading the script.
Yeah, I've upped his penalty attribute now.
4 a.m.
Up the penalty attribute to the max 20 because I downgraded it, believe it or not, after he missed in the what cup was it, Tom?
The Hotels Cup, German
the
Hotels Cup, iHotel Trophy.
Yeah, whatever. The Trivago.
Classic.
Yeah, whatever it was. And that was a weird. That was
the 45-minute games, wasn't it? That was Werder Bremen, was it? We played, or somebody like that. I can't remember. I've got the DVD somewhere.
I was still hungover after the Urine Cup win.
Urine Cup.
Yeah. I was pissed.
I was out for 4 days after that.
Oh man, those were the days. But yeah,
we haven't won a trophy since.
Yeah.
Oh, here we are. We won the Asia Trophy.
Champions of Asia. You'll never sing that.
But overall, I mean, it was a game of two halves really for Wolves. Like you say, it's the very poor first half. Adama made the difference, and then Diogo, that was a bit of a nightmare.
I can't really blame him though, because he gets upended every single game. They just kick lumps out of him, and I think he's finally had enough. Yeah, it was naive, it was stupid, but how old is he? 22, 23? 22. I think he's 20, Tom.
That's literally word for word what you said an hour ago, and I'm tripping now.
That's what I said.
He's a young lad and he's still learning his craft, and he's going to have to mature a little bit in that because he's a bit of a nasty bastard. He does like to kick out, and I think he's just finally, it's a straw that broke the camel's back.
But that's what makes him the player that he is. That passion.
Yeah, he's tenacious as anything. He's brilliant. He gives it 100% for 70 minutes.
Yeah,
but. It's a silly one to give away, but the ref couldn't wait to get his card out his pocket.
He shouldn't have been booked the first time, should he? At all?
No, and the fella who got booked to the tackle on him should have been sent off. So the ref couldn't wait to get them cards out.
Yeah, so obviously without him for the return fixture against Bratislava, which is a little bit annoying, because I'm sure again we'll talk about Diogo a little bit more shortly after when we're talking about the Arsenal game. But after the game against Bratislava, obviously, unfortunately, had the news about Willy Boly. Tom, you were halfway through talking to us about this when our recording crashed. So I'm going to let you take the lead on this.
So this is new territory now. We don't know what I'm going to say.
We don't know what we're on about now. We can't make any more jokes about hearing it an hour ago now.
Yeah, ha ha ha. Well, I think I posed the question about the conspiracy as to who broke Boly's leg.
Yeah. So what were the rumours we've had? Cody, Gibbs, White and Catrone.
Yeah, I hadn't heard about Cody, but Cody came out and said that it was just completely innocuous and that he slipped. Matt, you said something about him running backwards or something?
Oh, that was me. Yeah,
no, I heard he was getting out the bath with Vinagre, having a bath together, and he slipped. He put a towel down.
Can you imagine them together?
Someone else said he took his trousers off and his old
he tripped over his Johnson.
Yeah. No, there was this guy on our coach back from Villa, who actually knew the team with all the players before. Apart from, he said Oscar Burr. I have told you this story before. Apart from Oscar Burr, I was like, man, how do you? I didn't obviously say this, but I just thought, how do you know this team? And then he, after they were asking him about the Boly thing, and apparently, I don't know if it was Friday evening or the Saturday morning, they were like running backwards. And I don't know if someone tripped him up or he tripped up and his ankle just went. But I know you were going to ask.
Oh yeah, this is where we got to, wasn't it? And I said, why are they doing physical training at this point? Where I assume they travelled back late Thursday night. They're travelling to Newcastle, which is the furthest away game that that we've got. Why are they doing any sort of running or physical training on Friday?
It should just be
Saturday?
recovery. It should be recovery and tactics.
Yeah, position on the pitch. They shouldn't be doing any sort, or even if they are doing some sort of recovery, I'd imagine it'd be some kind of like yoga stretching sort of thing.
Get a bit of Zumba in there.
Nuno doing Zumba with the lads teaching the class.
Not
it'd be like
backwards.
the cryo chambers and stuff, weren't it? Like
I'd have thought so. Unless he tripped coming out of one of them.
To be fair though, don't trust me on that story, because the guy that said that story also called Harry Burgoyne Harry Bergolini. So
maybe that's a new signing in January.
Yeah.
To be fair, he's done well for the till under 23. Harry Bergolini. So
no, who knows? Well, yeah, going on, that was a big loss, and I think everyone was a bit worried then about the Newcastle game. Oh, we're gonna get announced relegation.
Yeah.
But I mean, we've seen the last week or so. We sort of are capable. I mean, he's a big miss, but we are capable without him.
Even at the Villa game, where it's a completely different team, you can just see throughout the club now. There's this structure of this is the formation that we play, and however much I've criticised it, the one good thing from it is that it is very organised, and if you do have key players missing, that there are other players that can fill in the gaps, and we can still play a contained way. And even against an experienced Villa team, we were able to restrict them fairly well, I thought, throughout the game. But we're not talking about that, we're talking about Newcastle. I was shocked. Well, when the team sheet came out, I was licking my lips. I thought it was a very, very exciting team sheet, because I assumed we were going to be playing 3-4-3 because of the names on that team sheet. But then to see Doherty at right centre back, I thought it was a little bit disappointing, and to see us playing 5-3-2 again was a little bit frustrating against a very poor Newcastle team. I was expecting us to throw more caution to the wind and be more attacking in that game.
When the team came out initially, because Wolves posted it as Dendoncker as the centre back and as 3-4-3 like you suggested, and then Sky put that with Doc at the back. I thought, like, what's going on there? We're obviously not going to play Matt Doherty at centre half. And when the game actually started, I was there like, what? And I could sort of, it's going to sound stupid, I could have sort of seen it working, but it didn't work because you've got your weakest player who's not actually a centre back on the right, and then you've probably got, no disrespect to Adama, your weakest defender on the right as well. So they should have, and they had Alan St Maximin as well on that side. They were always going to exploit it for the majority of the game if we kept like that, really.
I think Doc did okay at centre back, but it just restricted us going forward. I think a little bit.
Yeah. And I think
I didn't see the game. I was at Aintree, but I saw the two goals because it come up on my phone like goal wall. So I quickly went on to hit his goal. Had a look and managed to see them, but yeah. So for me to comment on it's a bit unfair because I've not seen the game back. But I can only comment on the selection. I don't think putting Doc at centre half and he's not played there before.
That was a bit of maybe a rush decision because I'd assumed they wouldn't have known about Boly maybe until midday the day before. But I suppose you still got 24 hours to.
I think,
but you still know who plays where, don't you?
Yeah, I think he would have had. He must have like emergency situations in his head. If we lose Moutinho, if we lose Jimenez, here is what we do: X, Y, and Z. They must have those things in place.
They construct a Cobra meeting.
Yeah, but the goal that we conceded was just shocking defending from everybody because the ball originally came in from our right hand side, but went right across the box. We didn't clear it properly. And then it came back in from the other side. All of them. I think.
If you have to single one player.
It's got to be Jota though.
It would be. Well, Jota failed.
He still went for it. No, it's got to be Jota.
Hang on. Let me.
It's got to be Vallejo. Hey, he's not even playing. I'll give you a name. I'll give you a name, Tom.
Oh yeah.
Roberto Martinez.
Jota obviously didn't clear the ball properly. He should have just hoofed it up the pitch. But Cody let his. Come on, boys.
Yeah, it was Coda.
Yeah, it was. He lost his. Who was it? Lascelles. Yeah. He lost his man. Free header at the near
post.
I don't think he was his man though, because Lascelles had sort of drifted to the edge of the area and ran back in between Stace and Cody though. I think.
Well, I've got a vendetta, so.
Yeah, that's it. I don't even listen to that Tom Rouse anyway. I don't listen to his opinion.
Anything that comes out of Tom Rouse,
he's clueless, isn't he?
Yeah.
That's one thing that we didn't go off the script is the abuse that I had. But anyway, carry on.
Yeah. But Do you think any team, Tom? Matt, you're irrelevant now. You didn't watch the game, so you go. Do you think any team actually deserved to lead that game at half time? Because it was pretty dire, wasn't it?
Not at half time, no. I think we were. I can't remember a chance that we had in the first half. I don't think. And then Jota should have gone off. Really, I think when he had his bang to the head early on in the.
Yeah. That was. What do you think about that? Because a lot of people calling for VAR to get it sent off. I think it was just one of those collisions.
For me, it's a red. He knows what he's doing. Again, it's just another chance to rile Jota up. I did say this, so I can comment. It's and I saw the red card. Steve Bruce, never a red card. Yeah. There or thereabouts. Sits down.
Just watch for piles there, boys.
Oh, by the way, we're not just that's a Steve Bruce compilation. We spoke about this earlier as well.
It's a red card for me. He's just steamed across with his arm. And Jota looked a bit like he'd done 6 rounds. He looked a bit.
Are you sure about it? In real time, it just seemed like a thing. But when they were slowing it down and speeding up, like I sort of saw where people were coming from, but. Yeah. I don't know. I think it would have been very harsh to send him off, but I can sort of see where people are coming from on that point.
But it affected Jota greatly because he wasn't the same player then, and it was after that he gave the ball away for the goal and things like that.
It was Cody's fault anyway.
It was Cody's fault, yeah. So, what were we saying? Oh, about the first half. Yeah,
about Cody.
Yeah, Cody's crap, and we didn't make any chances. So.
Comment section.
Next week,
straight to the comment section.
Next week, I'm going to say, when is Cody going to score next? That's going to be the next thing I'm going to slag him off about.
Second half. I mean, we were much better in the second half because we actually changed it. Donker went to the back. We actually went to the 3-4-3. Shock. We were good with the 3-4-3 again.
Yeah. It's so predictable now that. And I think fans were getting a little bit frustrated after that game because, again, against weak opposition or poor opposition in Newcastle, that we're not playing like that from the very, very beginning. And if we did, we'd have won that game comfortably. And then we offered opponents too much respect. And we think, we just stay in the game. Even if we're 1-0 down with 20 minutes to go, we back ourselves to get something. We've got to be more positive and we've got to get on the front foot more. And try and just have a few shots on goal or move the ball faster. We did see that yesterday, but we'll come to that in a bit.
We saw last season though we couldn't break teams down who were lesser than us.
But it's as if we were not trying though in those games.
Yeah, but it's a different kind of issue this season. It's just like we used to have a lot of the ball, but now it's just like they just don't know what to do, especially in the first half. But
a bit too respectful.
Went back to the old thing. Newcastle actually sat quite deep, and it was the sort of situation where we had a little bit more of the ball than them again, and we just didn't quite know what to do with it. 13 shots that game, but only 5 on target against Newcastle. Obviously, we got that goal in the end though.
I was just about to say we've failed to mention how good Johnny was all game. I think in the last couple of weeks,
for the last few weeks,
he's been really improved, and people have slagged him off about what he contributes going forward. And we spoke about it last time about how he does contribute, but it was strange to see him so far forward because I think it was only Southampton last season that he scored, and that was
chances though. He has had a couple of chances.
Yeah, I'll never forget the FA Cup final. The first 10 seconds the ball came to him, I thought he'd whipped one in top bins.
Yeah.
But no,
final.
Sorry, it's all right.
Yeah, Tom, mate.
All right.
You gave me a nightmare there, son.
And Tom on about semis again.
So Johnny, there was a ball into the box just before Johnny's goal where there was nobody in the box apart from Johnny. And you don't want a Johnny by himself in the box, do you? You want other players around him contributing.
To be fair, I saw the goal and I thought it was a good finish because he didn't want to take it on his weaker foot. He was a bit off balance. I thought, that's a decent finish. That, but I can't believe that. Well, we'll move on to the Arsenal game where he was absolutely outstanding. But I can't believe fans slag him off. Defensively, he's probably one of the best wing backs / full backs in the league. There's not many that get past him. But offensively, he's got a lot better. I mean, he's quick on the ball. His crossing isn't probably as good because he's running down the left. He's having to cut in, but he drives forward and he's strong as an ox. I think offensively, he's good.
But he doesn't do step overs, so he doesn't look class, does he?
No advice. That's what I was going to say. People think he's not as good going forward because he's not like your flair type player, and he's not quick, and he's not like that.
No, he's
but
not
then
slow though.
You look at it. Yeah. We need Vinagre on more because he's a better attacking, but he's a better defender.
Johnny gets the ball into the box more consistently than Vinagre does as well. I would say, without looking at the stats.
Hey, look, I don't look at the assist stats or stuff like that, but I bet you Johnny's contributed a lot towards goals with key passing and stuff.
His low centre of gravity helps as well, especially defending. Like, you don't see him get turned inside out because he can turn on a sixpence. So, I love him. I think he's brilliant. I raised my eyebrows when we signed him for however much it was. It's definitely a Mendes thing. Yeah, and I was like, wow. Like, we paid that for him. But it's definitely started to pay that back now for sure.
Yeah. And remember, everyone was worried when he came in for Barry Douglas.
Who?
Yeah. Who? The red card we'll quickly touch on before we finish off with the Newcastle game. Sean Longstaff sent off, high challenge on Neves. General consensus, red card, I'd assume?
Yeah, I feel a bit sorry for him because of all the press that he's had in the recent weeks, all very positive, and obviously he's very enthusiastic and he's taken his chance to be a star man at Newcastle, and maybe he was just a little bit too enthusiastic, too over the top, and cost him in the end.
Yeah, I know
they did catch him by his left bollock, so it was a definite red card.
Neves made an awful lot of it, didn't he?
He's got her though, hasn't he?
Chomp.
Chomp. You got to roll around though, because if you get back up, the ref doesn't give it.
Well, it also probably hurt him a lot as well. That's probably why he was on the floor.
Yeah.
That's what Steve Bruce said. That's why I said it.
Yeah.
I know, mate.
But the thing is,
cheers, mate.
Steve Bruce said it, but I don't think they appealed it though, did they? So they obviously knew it was.
Yeah, of course they did. Yeah.
The thing is, though, now with VAR, again, we go back to that VAR discussion. The chances of appeals actually coming off are probably a lot lower than they were before because they've got another ref looking at it as well.
Well, it means nothing. It just means
more
chance
with
for a mistake.
State of VAR. Yeah, exactly. But another point on the road for Wolves, a little bit disappointing because I'm sure Wolves fans. I mean, in terms of league games in October, it was City, Southampton, and Newcastle. I think most fans probably would have wanted, realistically, 4 or 6 points. Yeah, 6 points. Managed to get 5, which I think isn't bad. But when you look at 2 of the games were against Southampton and Newcastle,
it should have been 9 really in hindsight. When you have 3 points against City, which is a massive surprise, but then you follow it up with 2 of the worst teams in the league. One that gets beaten 9 shortly after, and one that is widely considered to be the worst team with the worst manager, and we give them so much respect that we make them seem like they're Barcelona, and we just about get a point. It's very, very disappointing.
Yeah, but
not very, very disappointing. It was underwhelming, perhaps.
Yeah. I mean, Wolves now. Again, we will talk about the Arsenal game in a bit, but they're on a pretty impressive unbeaten run, though. I mean, the Southampton game was probably more disappointing because it was at home and off the back of an international break where the majority of our boys had a decent break as well. But the Newcastle game, can you sort of understand that a bit more because it's coming back from Slovakia and then you've got to travel back up to Newcastle and then you've got the sort of the body injury as well. I mean, we probably had more chances to win that game, I suppose. But can you understand why maybe we've been dropping points in those last couple of games?
Well, I think it's the fact that we're not losing is very, very positive.
Yeah.
You just cough right into the mic here, Matt. Nice one.
Sorry, man. I'm trying to come away from it.
The fact that we're not losing is very, very positive. It's just that we're not taking the lead in games at all, and that's when we have taken the lead, we've won the game. We haven't thrown away a lead, so we just need to be more positive in the first half. So that's why we're not doing well.
Just blame Cody, Tom.
Yeah, I will blame Cody. In fact, yeah, he's the captain after all. But I don't think you can use the travelling as an excuse because we beat Man City after we travelled to Besiktas, which is the furthest away in the group. So they obviously recovered very, very well after that. But whether
no one asks the questions after you beat someone. It's when you've drawn or lost, isn't it? So.
Exactly.
Yeah. Well, we'll move on now. League Cup, we have touched on it slightly. Aston Villa away. Unfortunately, Wolves crashed out of the League Cup after a defeat to Villa. Sold out away end. Well, I said it was a sold out ground, but I'm sure I saw plenty of empty seats there as well. And I think the massive talking point here is lineup. So Villa made 9 changes themselves, but it was still a pretty solid team. Probably a team that would do a job in the Championship with some of the players that were in there. Still Douglas Luiz, who they spent big money on playing in that game. Conor Hourihane, Trezeguet as well, El Ghazi. And Wolves making a massive amount of changes. Ruddy in goal, Kilman, Bennett and Vallejo at the back, Vinagre and Sanderson as the wing backs, Taylor Perry, and it's so confusing having Terry Taylor and Taylor Perry, by the way. Bruno Jordao, then Pedro Neto Catrone and Chem Campbell. Matt, we were there. You had your top off after our goal, as per.
Quickly back on again.
Yeah. What do you think, Matt? When that lineup came out, what were your initial thoughts on that?
Well, I was in the Wellington in town and I saw the lineup and I was like, "Nah, I'm staying here." My brother convinced me to come back into town, come back to the game, and it was, I don't know, I think it was a statement from Nuno to the board. That's what I think.
So where's the Costa money gone, Jeff?
Yeah, where's the Costa money, Jeff? I don't know. I think it was a statement saying, look, I wanted us to go strong into the window in the summer, and we didn't. And obviously, he said recently that he wants to have a good window in January. He needs to strengthen, and we're struggling. So, for me, that it was more of a statement. There was no need for him to rest that many players. So, it was disappointing, but it was understandable.
I'm not sure though, because it's been said, especially throughout summer and the start of the season and at the fans' parliament, that Nuno said he wants a small squad. So,
but has Nuno come out and said that?
We've got 60 players as well, don't forget.
Yeah, yeah.
We've seen.
I know he's not. You're probably right. I don't think he's come out and said it publicly, but it was made pretty obvious that he wanted that, and then he's obviously throughout the season everyone's saying no, we're not tired, we're fine, and then it comes to this game, and he's obviously done that because he doesn't prioritise this cup whatsoever. But it also shows to the board our lack of squad depth, not just in the first team, but. I mean, we've got some very talented academy players, but I don't think they're quite ready for. Most of them aren't quite ready for Premier League football. But then in the pre-match press conference for the Arsenal game, he made out how they were struggling a little bit because they've played 22 games now. So I don't know. I think he's slowly but surely realising how difficult it is to manage this team with so many fixtures, with 2 or 3 fixtures per week. And I think you are probably right. I think in January now. The club and even Jeff Shees said there's going to be money to spend. I think especially if we qualify for the knockout stages, I think they are going to bolster out that squad, whether it be with loans or whether it be with permanent transfers.
Well, if you look at the transfers you brought in, Vallejo, go on, son.
God, no, that was my say on
Second coming
Vallejo.
of Cody.
Who's worse than Cody? and that's saying something.
And why is that, Tom?
Go on, carry on.
Yeah, Vallejo's been very poor. Neto, still not overly convinced that he's first team consistently ready yet. No. I mean, you compare him to Jota and Adam, he's not at that level yet. Catrone's been hit and miss, not playing to his strengths. But then again, when he fluffed a couple of chances, and Jordao is knocking around the under-23s for a bit, so they're the 4 that we brought in. It's not great, is it?
But you never see a team really go out and strengthen in January, because teams are unlikely to let their assets go halfway through the season, because they're either looking for European places or to stay in the league or to win a title or whatever. So I can't imagine that we will, or if we are going to spend big, it's because we're going to have to spend huge fees to get these players off the teams that they play for. I'd be surprised if we did spend real, money in the.
I think it'd be loans. I think we could get some.
Yeah, loans is reasonable, but then is a team going to loan out a player that's any use to them with 5-6 months of the season left, if they're any good?
Yeah, and I think
that Frank Kess rumour keeps coming up, doesn't it?
Yeah. Frank Kessie, yeah.
Yeah, the 2 newest rumours today. I know this could, it's totally BS, but could be both Championship players. Do you think? I mean, a lot of people are saying, "Oh, we've gone from Ruben Diaz to this and so on." Do you think they're English players? Obviously, Wolves might be looking towards that homegrown thing, although we've got very talented academy players. Do you think stuff like that could work? because I mean they're not in European competition championship sides.
That Ben Davies isn't a bad player. I'm going to link with today. He's Ben Davies, isn't he, from Preston?
Yeah,
He's
Spurs.
No. Your mate get scored.
Yeah, he did. He did, yeah.
But I mean, Tom, sorry, Matt. Either of you, what do you think about Wolves? Rather than recruiting from abroad, these players are obviously that we're looking at probably proven for European competition. Like you say, Tom, are we going to spend 15-20 million plus on a player when the chances are we're not going to get Europe again next season? Like how it's very difficult. It'd be very interesting to see, won't it?
That's the problem, and there's another problem as well, which nobody, to my knowledge, has mentioned, but it should have already happened, and that was last week. Brexit should have happened. Are Fosun concerned about pumping millions and millions and millions of pounds into a British business where in a few months they might not be allowed to live in the country and things like that? Nobody's mentioned that, but it could be something in the back of their minds as a business. They're unsure of the future of the country. I think it could be an issue. I don't want to get too political, but
talking politics.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Let's trust the process and trust Boris here, boys. Come on.
Anyway.
Oh dear. Boris is good, mate. That's it.
I don't know. I think there'll be something to do with footballers and living in the UK and stuff. I think
if you're already living here, I think you'll be fine.
Mate, look how much money they get paid.
Yeah.
So.
Bringing good money into the country as well. So
we might get Lyle Taylor on the podcast next week because he's got some good political views.
I'll get Tony Watt on. No problem. Yeah,
we done it.
We done it. I mean, this massive sidetrack from the Villa game. So Villa 2, Wolves 1. Remember that game? Yeah. What did you think of the defence? Because I thought Villa got in behind a couple of times early on. Putting a lot of the play down that side with Dion, Sanderson and Vallejo at the start. Just easy balls in behind, but then eventually the goal actually came from the opposite side.
And you can see why Patricio's our number one.
Yes.
Saying.
That was, of all the kids that played, he was actually the senior or first team players that actually let us down in both of the goals. Vinagre who scored El Ghazi or El
Ghazi,
yeah, he let him run in behind him. And then John Ruddy's poppadom hands, led them to score.
Vita wrists.
And then the inexperience of the team showed when we just scored and we didn't sort of shut up shop for a couple of minutes and just make sure we just hold it at 1-1 for a little bit and then see. They gave away a very foolish free kick on that side and then Ruddy getting beaten like that at his near post.
Vinagre switched off a few times this year already.
Yeah. I mean, well, he got dropped after the Everton game because he played so poorly. But then against
Torino,
Man City, Man City, he was superb.
Against Man City, yeah.
Yeah, and then we haven't really seen him then until Villa since then. But I thought that the team were actually quite defensively well organised. And, as I mentioned earlier about the structure of the team and the formation is so set throughout the club that they know their positions. Kilman, I thought, played well. Bennett slotted into that role and by the sounds of it, wasn't anywhere near 100% fit, so did a good job. But it was, I don't know, midfield we lacked experience a lot, and I think that's probably...
It was weird though, because we've been calling for the 3-4-3, but then he's actually gone, go on then, we'll give you the 3-4-3, but he's trusted two young midfielders against that, such a pretty experienced Aston Villa midfield there. But
for however many times I didn't see the same as you then, Dave, because I didn't think that they got in behind us a lot. They looked very threatening, Villa, but they had a lot of shots, but not many on target.
Not a lot, but I think it was 3 or 4 times, definitely at least once before the goal, where Kilman made a terrific challenge.
Yeah, he did.
It was pretty basic balls, and it was the gaps between the defenders. They were just going straight through them. It happened on the one side, then Kilman made the tackle, and then an identical opportunity happened on the other side, and that's when they scored the goal. But we did restrict them a lot from range, which I thought was pretty good.
I thought Kilman played really well, probably the best I've seen. Yeah. I mean, you look at all the team and the young lads, and if you said, right, you don't know the age of these players, pick out the experienced pros. Kilman probably the one you picked out. Yeah. He's so calm and composed on the ball and defended well. But yeah, I thought he did really well, and I wasn't convinced when I first saw him play. It was in the cup maybe, and I thought,
He played last season, didn't he, against somebody?
Yeah,
Although he came off for about 10 seconds.
To be fair,
yeah.
when he's been called upon the last few weeks, he's done well, and I think the Villa game was the best game he's had so far.
I trust him more than Vallejo at the moment.
Yeah.
What did you think of Vallejo against Villa? Because I saw someone say he was crap on Villa, but I don't think he was that bad.
It was probably the best game he's had.
I was just about to say that, which is about a 4 out of 10. He was okay. He was fine.
Yeah, he was just okay. And I've just
he didn't make any mistakes.
Just checked the possession stats. I never realised Wolves had 28% of the ball.
Usually that's a very good. It's a very good thing if we have that low number.
Yeah. We'll quickly touch on the Wolves goal because we haven't done that. Patrick Catrone did get one 10 minutes after half time. Great work from Perry driving the ball forward. I thought he looked pretty decent actually throughout the game as well.
Yeah, and like I just said as well about having a pot shot, it came back off the keeper. No, it didn't come back off the keeper, was it?
But it was a shot. I think Catrone diverted his shot. Yeah.
It was a shot, and you never know. And if that's what Catrone likes, balls into the 6-yard box. That's what we got to provide
that's
him
his
with.
strength, and he's a proper poacher. He's never going to take it past 3 or 4 people. He's just the right place, right time. And again, we don't really get enough balls into the box, and we don't have enough shots to kind of work the keeper, and then that happens, or the rebound comes out. So we aren't playing to his strengths. He likes to peel off and get in behind, and he makes those runs, but no one really picks him out. So that's
what about his clear? He had that clear-cut chance.
He should have scored that
as well.
I think he's like a little bit like Traore in that if he's got too much time to think about something, he's going to miss.
I believe City, you remember as well when he was through on goal against City.
Yeah. If it's just a sharp chance like the one at Chelsea or the one at Villa, he'll score. But if he's got
too much time,
he must have had 15 seconds when he had the ball, and you just think he's going to miss. He's going to miss. I didn't feel confident for any second.
No, I didn't.
He was about to kick the ball, then realised he left the kettle on. One of them ones. Well, we'll quickly move on because we haven't got long left.
The Bolognese Bonatina.
The most recent game against Arsenal. Much better Wolves performance. Matt, we went. Rouse is a plastic, so he didn't go.
Yeah.
But you had it on the box, Rouse, with the old Chinese commentary, didn't you? One of them ones.
Very enjoyable.
Yeah, 3-4-3. 3-4-3, which again I was surprised at because I thought, Arsenal, I know they've had their problems recently, but pretty solid team on paper. I thought we might have packed out in the midfield just to frustrate them, but we went for it. Matt, 3-4-3, your boy in right wing back, and mate, first 10 minutes, we could have definitely grabbed a goal. We put them under real pressure early on, didn't we?
Yeah, we did, and it's the first time we've started with 3-4-3 in a while, and we took the game to Arsenal. It's the first time that we've took the game to a team in the first half this season, and it shows that it works. And I want to see more of that because we quite easily could have scored in those first 10 minutes. Started really brightly, and it was good to see much more. The whole performance was really, really good, but the first 10 minutes was good. The next 20-30 weren't so good in the second half. We finished really strong, so. Yeah, the 3-4-3 worked wonders. I was a little bit concerned to have Martinho and Neves in that midfield two against 3 of theirs, but they controlled the game really well, and Neves was a lot better. He recycled the ball better. His passing was better. He had a few shots, albeit none of them winning, but he can hurt teams from there. You can't hurt teams, and he's sat on the edge of his box. So playing a little bit further forward, and it kind of highlights his main attributes.
He did seem to have a lot more time and space yesterday than other games. But yeah, I was just thinking now as you were talking, how Nuno comes out after the game and always says about how he gets asked, why are you only playing well for 20 minutes or what little spells, and he says about the ambition is to be able to play well for 90 minutes. That's what we want to achieve, but we're not there yet. Do you think that he's playing 3-5-2 because he's concerned about how weak we are? We can't keep it up for 90 minutes, so we'll just keep ourselves in the game for the first half and then go in the second half, and then maybe just had I think the reason he went 3-4-3 yesterday was because Arsenal are so weak at wing back, at full back, so we thought, right, we can exploit that throughout the game.
Yeah, I think there's probably a number of reasons why. I mean, we could be just speculating and we don't know why he does it, or he might be in training, it might be brilliant, but I think you might be right there. 3-5-2, frustrate an opponent for 45 minutes. This is why I sort of thought we'd go with it against Arsenal. Frustrate the opponent for 45 minutes. If if we go in at half-time 0-0, then that's when Arsenal start to come out, start pushing up, and we go 3-4-3 and we get them on the counter-attack like we did against City. But I thought yesterday, the way I think we probably shocked Arsenal, the way we just went straight at them, and we had a couple of early chances in the first 10 minutes.
I think going 3-4-3 gives us so much more offensive options. You got the two, obviously you got the striker, and then you've got two overlapping or underlapping full-backs inside forwards, and a lot of the times you might have one man up on the wing, and it showed like we were exploiting them time after time, especially with Jota and Johnny. They were both brilliant, so it was encouraging. It was a really good performance.
I got frustrated watching on telly with Jota because, yes, he was great and he was positive in his running with the ball, but he just seemed to, and on more than one occasion, just sort of run into a dead end. He just run until he met a defender, whereas I was screaming at him to release the ball earlier to Jimenez, and just he was doing the right thing and Jimenez was making the right run, but it was just too late that the ball was being released from him.
Yeah, I think, I thought, like you say there, Jota was, the way he was driving at people was like the Jota of old, but he just didn't pull the trigger that he is. As if he wasn't, as if he wasn't looking up to see like what everyone else is doing.
He tries to pull the trigger at the end, and it just rolls off his studs, doesn't it?
Yeah.
So it's it should have just gone down. He should have got the pen, but Nuno don't like that, does it?
Yeah.
He was waiting for the contact, and the way he's dangled the leg out, it could have quite easily gone over.
Well, gone for his left foot, I think. I think he tried to cut it back onto his right foot and maybe curl it in or bundled it in. But I think if he tried it on his left foot, he might have gone and got the 3 points. But that's just looking at it in hindsight, I suppose.
Johnny was brilliant as well.
Yeah, but what did you make of the back three? Sace and Dendoncker actually coming into it. I think that worked for Wolves because the distribution was much better, I thought, anyway, to Neves and Moutinho and co.
Yeah, although there was a couple of minutes they just looked completely disorganised. There was the...
Whose fault's that, Tom?
Well, the captain. The goal. For everybody listening, I am joking, right?
Yeah.
All the time.
Mate, get the timestamp of that so you could just reply to everyone in the comments.
Yeah. So the goal came from just a real lapse in concentration. Sace failed to clear the ball. Dendoncker got a knob end, as you said, on it, and it fell straight to Aubameyang. Whereas if they'd have been more decisive and just somebody really put a foot in and just stopped the ball coming in, that goal was avoidable, I thought. And then a minute or so after, where that complete cock up, where they obviously weren't talking to each other, and one of them,
was it
Dendoncker slammed it into Sace or something like that.
He slid in, didn't he?
To me, that's Patricio's fault because he should be commanding that defence. But whether it's a language barrier or something else, there's been a couple of times this season where they just don't look like they're talking to each other, and it's basics, absolute
Patricio
basics.
doesn't really communicate that well.
No,
that's one
he doesn't command his box either.
Football is a universal language.
Well, it is, but when you need to tell somebody man on, you need English or French or Portuguese.
Yeah. The distribution from that back three was a lot better though.
Yeah.
I thought that the balls out were great, and kudos to him. And as his hold-up player, he's brilliant. Holding that ball.
And the
goal as well, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was very,
Moutinho,
very...
I think, deserves a bit of credit for that.
He's intelligent player,
you don't see that burst normally from him, do you?
Johnny's quick throwing as well, very quick thinking. I thought it was a very, very good goal and well taken as well by Jimenez.
Like salmon, didn't he, against two defenders, like the proverbial salmon. He's got a great leap on him.
He went to see Wicked later on, and for those musical fans, he was defying gravity when he scored that goal.
What does that mean, Tom?
Well, there's a song in that musical called Defying Gravity.
We also went to watch the American football today as well. So
I know.
A bit of
handball. And they had a blinking Halloween party. They've had a lovely week, haven't they? The Wolves team
and
that Indian
Bollywood
party.
Yeah, as well. Where's our invite?
Focus on the pitch, lads.
Yeah. You start winning games.
You see that on the day after Villa? The players are up to this whilst we get knocked out the cup. All right, it's not Nuno's fault, is it, mate?
Having putting a fun ban on the squad.
I know. Yeah.
25 shots for Wolves, much better going forward, just in general, weren't we? And I know Arsenal are a bit shaky at the back, but you could take that into the game against Bratislava and definitely take that into the game against Villa, who have their defensive issues as well. We could have a pretty tasty weekend coming up if we can put teams to the sword again.
Yeah, and if we start 3-4-3 in both games and just say, right, we back ourselves defensively to deal with a counter attack, because we have been countered a couple of times in the last few games, Newcastle and Arsenal, but we have dealt with it. We haven't been scored from a counter attack. We haven't conceded a goal from a counter attack. But I just hope that we do get on the front foot and make a statement early on in the game, even if it's just a shot or a deflection, something like that, where we say, yeah, exactly, in the first 20 minutes. And I just want to see something happen.
I would love to go 3-4-3 against the Villa Nuno that says, look at the size of my bollocks, and just goes for it from the first whistle. I think that's what we need to do, because I think teams are expecting us to be
a bit
cautious.
Steve Ball lower as well. That'd be lovely, wouldn't it?
I don't think he would though, mate. I don't think he's got the brain cells to remember.
He don't understand what's going on, does he? He probably doesn't even know it's the next club. Yeah. Right, that's the roundup. We're going to quickly finish off with some quick-fire questions to boys. One-word answers, please. Josh Ladd says, most promising looking player versus Villa. Matt?
Kilman.
Tom?
Taylor Perry.
Oh, I was going to say Perry as well.
I was going to say Kilman.
I'll go Kilman as well.
That bald lad in gold looked alright.
For a youngster, he did alright.
Work on his wrists.
What did you think of Chem Campbell, by the way? Did you think he was a bit shy out of the game?
Yeah, he looked a bit scared, and I was very pleased to see such a young player playing, but it looks a bit too much for him.
Dortmund and Leipzig won him, apparently.
Yeah, who was it? I think it was Finners on 90-Minute Football called him the Jadon Sancho regen.
Shut up, Finn.
Yeah.
Joking, Finn. Love you. At 16, I think I was playing FM on my laptop in bed, so he's doing alright for himself. Yeah. I'm sure he could also do the same thing if he really wants to, but you know. Tyler Krausen 2 says key player / let's go position. Key player / position you want to sign in January, Matt.
Central midfielder.
Tom.
Centre back. We had this question last time.
We have it every week.
Who needs replacing centre half, Tom?
If I speak, I'm in big trouble.
Willy Boly.
Yeah.
Because he's injured.
Amari Carlin, thoughts on Dendoncker this season? In his opinion, he's offered nothing. But we have no option to replace him, as Boly's now injured because Wolves have put Sace in there. I don't know what he's on about, but basically saying Dendoncker's been crap in his opinion.
Yeah, he's been...
Matt, thoughts?
Yeah, speak when you're spoken to, Tom. He's been really poor. I just don't think he's cut the mustard this season. I know he didn't play much at the start of last season, but comparing to what he was like end of last season, he's not done enough. But the whole team's underperformed, so you can't just say it's him. Everyone hasn't really pulled the weight. It's just, for me, he's not done enough, and I'd probably look to not replace him, but give him some competition in Jan.
That was a very long one-word answer, and I disagree with it all. Tom?
Yeah, same. I don't think he's done anything different to that he did for the second half of last season. I think he does the dirty work. He gives the space for Martinho and Neves to play, and he's not going to create any assists. He's not going to get many goals. He's versatile. I think he's... well, as you said, everybody's underperformed so far.
That's a good one-word answer. I enjoyed that.
He hasn't dropped any clangers.
No, someone put it on Facebook, one of those Dingles AWE groups, and slagging Dendoncker off, and I said, what? The thing is that Neves and Martinho they've got them. Their passes are fantastic, the players around him, they've got fancy flicks and stuff like that. They've got that bit of flair. Where Dendoncker, like you say, does the dirty work. A lot of that goes unnoticed and stuff like that as well. And he makes those runs in behind, which I think at times drags those defenders, creates spaces for all the others, like you said.
He doesn't drive with the ball. When he does drive with the ball, he's like...
But
I don't think he's that type of player, though.
If that's what you want from a box-to-box midfielder, you want him to drive with the ball.
Year. He didn't do it last year.
Man at best.
No, what? Sorry, what you call him? Average is one word answer. But you, Rose?
Thank you.
Slightly above average.
That's not one word.
That is it though. My answer is disagree with Matt. Yeah. We actually got Amari's brother Lamar, who's actually also asked a question.
Is he the fellow on Pop Idol?
Yeah. Were you disappointed with the team selection last night, meaning the Aston Villa game? Matt, one word answer.
Yes.
Tom Rouse.
No.
Oh, he's not disappointed. One word answer for this. Do you think Wolves could have gone on to win the Carabao Cup, Matt?
No.
Tom?
Yes.
What? I mean, we could have it. Yeah. I mean, one week if we beat the Villa, we'll be in the quarter final. They may or may not have a bye against Villa as well, against Liverpool as well. You know, depending on what happens there.
Oh, well,
because they've got to play the Super Cup and the Carabao Cup on the same day, haven't they?
They'll have two separate teams, yeah.
Yeah, on the same day.
Yeah. Well, is Klopp going to be in both places at once? Yeah. On FaceTime or something?
Got it on Skype, yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Boom.
Yeah. Boom, boom. Doing that on FaceTime. Go on. Nuno style.
Doing the Nuno.
Yeah.
Again, another question. This is off Brad Fisher. He's asked who we should offload and who we should replace him with. I was going to ask Rouse, but I know his answer. If you had to sell, let's say, it's a small squad as it is, Matt. If you had to sell one player from this current squad, who would it be?
Based on performances alone, Morgan Gibbs-White.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Yeah, no, I'd agree. And I think we'd probably get a decent fee for him just because he's English and young and he was in that under-19s or 17s squad.
Yeah. That doesn't mean I want to sell him, but it's just there's no one else who's played as poorly
as
John
him. Ruddy?
John Ruddy, and we'd get about 10 million for him as well.
How much? Banter. Right, we're going to finish off there because that was a pretty disappointing note to end up on. Guys, if you are listening, be sure to hit the like button on YouTube, subscribe to the channel if you do, and let us know your thoughts on this sort of new style that we've tried out. Do you think it's worked, or do you prefer us all sat holding hands in the same room? If you're listening on a podcast, be sure to, of course, leave a review if you're able to on iTunes, Spotify, what have you. Before we leave though, Matt, where can people find you if they wish to?
It's M Cooper Writes on Twitter and Instagram.
Matt Cooper on LinkedIn. Tom Rouse.
All those connections.
The Old Gold 1877 on Twitter, and please do check out the Rouse and Roach podcast.
We don't plug other people's podcasts on here. David, have to edit out.
Sorry, I didn't realise I was talking to the fan cast who don't like competition. Huh?
Yeah, but talking balls are decent.
Well, disorganised, I tell you.
We went around Rouse's house, and it was somehow an inconvenience for him, you know.
Yeah, I've travelled all the way from sunny West Brom to the house of Rouse.
That lad could have been at his dad's an hour earlier for tea.
I know.
We literally went round Rouse's for cookies and a cup of tea.
And watched the match.
Watched the match, yeah.
That's just finished. The next podcast, depending on when we do it, but we've definitely got one planned in a recording studio. We're going up market. So we're definitely going to have a nice one in there. But I don't know where I'm going with this. We'll see you next time anyway. Thanks for listening, guys, and we'll see you all very, very soon.